even like not too long ago, I'm sure you guys saw Frosty, right? What
Yeah.
happened with 100 Thieves? That was crazy. Like I think Frosty and the Mob were released like back in 2021, and then
Yeah.
all this stuff starts coming out now. It's like,
Mhm.
and it forces Nate Shot to go on stream and explain
Playing it.
himself of why he
Yeah.
had to let him go. And for those that don't know, like Frosty was claiming to have been mistreated from 100 Thieves, and yes, he was a smaller streamer. I wouldn't even say he's a small streamer. I'd say he's like a mid streamer, right? Him and the Mob,
Good. Yeah.
like 100 Thieves made an investment in Frosty and these two other guys, and was giving them a salary here in LA. I think it was like Frosty said it on Twitter. It's
It
like
was like 2,000 and something
a
dollars
month, right?
a month each. Yeah.
Yeah, which is, I mean,
I thought they were maybe. I think they said 80K per month or per year,
n-
something like that.
no, yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was. I think
So
Frosty had said he was been giving 60K per year.
or 60, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. It was not essentially, yeah, it was 60K,
yeah,
but like there's four of them,
yeah,
right? So they're in the household. They're making 20
yeah.
for 20 $240,000. Yeah.
I don't know,
It,
man.
but Nate, I think what Nate Shah was saying is like, well, they were paying them salary, but they're supposed to do their own content too. And like
Yes,
I always see like the percentage part of it. I forgot what it was, like 80, was it 85% 85%.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
that they're making? So they're like, you guys aren't releasing enough content to make up for that money.
It. I think it's crazy because it's obvious. Like Frosty went out and said that 100 Thieves and Nate Shot were taking advantage of them. And in my
Mhm.
mind, I'm like, well, of course, they're making an investment. That's the whole point,
Right.
right? Like, I'm seeing it from 100 Thieves' perspective. I almost see them when it comes to streamers, they're like a label, right, with musicians,
Yeah.
or like a team when it
Their
comes to
brand. Their
sports, right?
brand.
Their brand. They make an agreement, and this is what we're gonna pay you, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like from then on, it like with athletes, you can get your own sponsorships. You can get paid on the side. You
Yeah.
can do your own things, right? I'm sure there's limitations to sponsorships and stuff with 100 Thieves, but in the end of the day, like they're just giving you like a baseline pay for you to be able to live and make contents like 100% of the day to only have to focus on that, and then everything on the side, yes, you have to make up for that. Obviously having to live in LA is not the most ideal with that salary, but even then, like you're in a group with four guys. Like I grew up in LA and I had a lower salary than that, right? You guys are in the LA area too. Like it's, yes, it's hard to live there with the salary I got, but at the end of the day, I think Frosty really, he just fumbled the bag because that's an
Yeah.
opportunity that any small streamer would jump
They,
on, right?
yeah.
Like
They just like dropped the ball on it.
yeah,
And
and
that's almost like the problem. It feels like he came to Under Thieves and thinking, oh, now I don't have to do any work. I could just sit
yeah,
back and just enjoy the riches. And it's like, no,
yeah,
it's like a football
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
bridge. It's a bridge to your career.
yeah,
It's not
it's like,
just retirement.
yeah,
You're not getting signed to retirement.
yeah. It's
It's
like
it's
a,
like a bad
yep,
mentality.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
Josh,
like a football
yeah,
player. Like you're signing a rookie, you're on a
yeah,
rookie deal, and
yeah,
then if you do good, obviously you can renegotiate your deal or sign for like a different percentage if you're doing well
yeah,
with the company. I mean, but if you're not
yeah.
doing the work, obviously you're not gonna get paid
Yeah, or
like
like a
more. Well,
music artist, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
a music artist. When a music artist signs to a label, the label's taking like 80% of the profit from streams and stuff. The way music artists will really make their money is going on tour, getting in front of fans, selling merch. Like that's how they're gonna make their own money. And the label is just a way for them to get their name out there to create more fans. And honestly, like having your name associated to 100 Thieves, which is like one of, if not the best or the most popular esports organization, like having
yeah,
your name associated with that is no joke, right? Like that's
yeah.
gonna bring in people into your stream. Like I love watching Courage, right, on YouTube, and he'll occasionally, like he would call out those guys and be like, hey, yeah, like go follow Frosty. Like they're doing their own thing over there. They have the mob. They have their own house that they're streaming from. They're creating content, and and you saw through, I guess it was more drama on Twitter that was happening, but Courage was basically like screw Frosty. Like I thought we were cool, but that wasn't the way
Yeah,
to
he
do
said he
it.
lost a brother that day. He said,
Yeah, like, and then he said
well,
he
it's
was
pretty
still
sad because Courage is owner now, so
yeah,
like you're basically, you know, you're not trusting. He's an owner now, so you're not obviously not trusting ownership of the the leaders of Hundred Thieves, and that's one. He's one of them. So
yeah,
it's just kind of sad, you know,
I
that you're given this opportunity and you think that like we said it's just a freebie in life and you don't have to do any work and it's like that's when your work should start. That's when you should they even said like they never wanted to show up to like group appearances. They never wanted to do any of that stuff. Then why join the organization? The organization is the one losing out. They're the ones that have to put money up front for you to be able to succeed. Well, you don't have to do anything. You just sit there. You move to Los Angeles, and then you try to make your career, and you don't lose anything. You're really only gaining. So,
yeah,
and you
um,
can't really complain about like the percentages when you're signing the contract that literally says
yeah.
how much they're gonna take. I
I
mean,
mean, that's the one part that Hundred Thieves, 85% is pretty crazy, man. But
but I think there was
they
like
are
higher
bringing that. They are bringing you that stuff, and you didn't have that before you were with them.
I think Myth when
So,
he was at TSM, he said like it was like 90% for him, and like
yeah.
and he took the opportunity. He said he took the opportunity and ran with it.
yep,
Well, Myth was
Like
but Myth
he
back
was
then
smart.
he was a small streamer. He was a decent sized streamer, but he was like, Fortnite gaming wasn't big as it is now.
yeah,
That was the upcoming of Fortnite, so I understand that. But now, with the whole Hundred Thieves thing, who knows how that Nick Merckx stuff went on? I know Nick Merckx was one of their founding,
yeah,
people, and then I know Nate Shot apparently screwed him over. But Nick Merckx probably didn't have the brightest business mind back then. So
yeah,
maybe he screwed himself over,
yeah.
but
And
you know,
I'm not saying Nate Shot did not screw over the guys in the mob.
no, I support Nate
Yeah,
Shot. I think he did.
yeah,
He's
The business.
he's a businessman, but he's
yeah,
like the ninja. People don't understand how big the name Nate Shot is.
yeah.
He's essentially the ninja. XQC, and Ninja are probably like the three biggest names of
Top
like
three. Yeah,
the last 10, 15 years of like gaming, Twitch,
yeah, yeah,
all that
I
stuff,
buy.
esports.
yeah. I think with
Yeah,
Nate Shot,
yeah,
he probably just put, or obviously he has a team to do this, but he put out a business proposal to Frosty and the mob, and he's expecting a certain return. And yeah, like you said, he's a business guy, and I understand that. And maybe, yeah, maybe he could have been more lenient on them, especially because they're younger. Maybe they didn't understand the contract. Like we hear this stuff with like music artists all the time too, right? Like they don't understand the contract they're signing and they feel like they got screwed over. And yeah, I mean that could have been the case here. And I'm not saying it's not, but at the end of the day, Nate Shot, when it comes to Hundred Thieves, he's acting as the CEO. He's acting in this position to push the company forward, to make money, to make good investments, and that's essentially what he was trying to do. So honestly, like Frosty leaving and the mob just not working out for them, it's a loss for them. It's a loss for Hundred Thieves too. Like it's a lose lose situation all around. Nate Shot just needed to go on Twitch and on stream and just kind of say, hey, like the stuff Frosty's been saying is not necessarily true. This is what happened. And like he did admit to how much like that they were really taking a lot of money from them, but that was the contract. That's what we signed. And I think it's important to note that too. Like especially with a group like 100 Thieves, everyone's still trying to figure out like how all this stuff works, right? It's not as fleshed out like you see you see sports like the NBA, NFL. You see these labels that have been here for over a century. When it comes to music, like they've had all this time to really figure out how these works, how these contracts works, where how the market works. And gaming is still relatively new. Like you mentioned, just from when Myth started with TSM to now, like it's increasingly more competitive to become a streamer. Even more esports is increasingly more competitive as people are starting to get more sponsorships, scholarships, even in college to go out and do these gaming things. Like there's more organizations coming out of people coming together to try to compete and do it at a super high level. Like there's gonna be fallout at some point, and I
yeah,
think this is another just another point in this fallout that we've
yeah.
seen, right?
Well, and like you said, this is new. Like when organizations only signed pro players before,
Yeah.
like content streamers to
It's fairly
organizations
new.
is fairly new. I mean, who was the first one? Like I don't know,
I think it was
Noah J with 100 Thieves, or like Phase, some
I
Phase
I think
people.
it was OT. Well, the esports or because
No,
I
no,
think
like
No
content,
OTV.
content. Just
But I
content. So
know
straight
like, oh yeah, okay,
content.
OTV, yeah,
they,
OTV was
but
probably like,
they didn't do any sports, so they just
yeah,
signed
yeah.
on
So like,
streamer,
this
huh?
is pretty new. Like, 100 Thieves is big on it. 100 Thieves doesn't really. They sign a bunch of content streamers. They have a ton. They probably have like 50 content streamers that they
Yeah.
have on their
Yeah,
payroll.
and
So
and yeah, I follow most of them too.
yeah, so it's just this is fairly new. Yeah, like you said, they're ironing out things. But either way, 85% of a contract you didn't have before, they were getting like I think they said they got 200,000 from one deal.
Oh, Nate
That's
Shot said that.
60,000
Yeah.
each of them. I think that's what we're saying. 60,000 each of them. That's a whole year's salary right there. What do you mean? What do you need more for? Like,
Yeah,
just work a little extra more, do some streams. You're gonna end up at 100K a year. You're fine for four
or
of
they
you
can just
guys.
work the same, and then they'll be
It's just
making more
like
than what they're making before.
Yeah.
Just work the
yeah.
same. They just have the same pay rate.
Essentially, it was they were spoiled. Uh, they like you said, anybody would want that opportunity, and
Yeah.
they blew it themselves.
Yeah,
So
you're labeled with 100 Ds. You get opportunities to for like a whole bunch of sponsors.
Yeah.
They didn't take
yeah,
advantage.
and they were mad that they had to pay for their own.
They chose
Um,
a whole expensive house, like
yeah,
$1 million house, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
like you're upset you had to pay for your own
They
house.
were saying I think they were saying that they were forced to get a house like close to the
Eh,
100 Thieves like main offices and
Yeah,
stuff.
but
But
the picture.
you can find way cheaper than that in LA,
Well,
dude.
the funny thing is, Frosty was on his stream and he was showing the houses in the area. And there was a $10,000 house, and he's like, "This is the house we were forced to get. This one." And then you see right next to it, there's like a $6,000 house, and they chose the $10,000 house.
Yeah.
So like, those are the things. You're so dumb. You can't choose the $6,000 house. Save some money until you can get to that $10,000 house. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
they just thought that they needed the big house in order to make content. It's like
I mean,
no.
you can move like 30 minutes away and still get there on time.
Right?
I think they said they had to be within 10 to 20 minute drive
Yeah.
in case they need them like last
Of the
minute for a
offices.
shoot or something like
Well,
that.
and
Yeah,
then
Uh,
there were reports also that that 100 Thieves would send like some of their like social media folks over to the house to try to take some clips and create some videos and stuff, and they would get there and it was just a mess.
oh,
Like
I bet. I
they
mean,
would have to send a team
it's
ahead of time to clean up
to clean.
before they could get the place ready
And emergency cleaning
finish.
services are not cheap. They're
No, nope.
like $500 to $1,000 for probably 1 hour.
Yeah,
It's crazy. So
it's insane, and I don't want to say that they're like dumb or anything, right? Like I think they're just
no,
young. I
they're
think
pretty
they
dumb.
and honestly, it could have been mismanagement from 100 Thieves too. Like when you see young artists get signed, like
Yeah,
musicians or young players get signed, a lot of them have like seriously like a manager just sitting behind them the whole
mentor.
time or a
Yeah,
mentor, someone telling them, "Hey, have you done this? Hey, have you done that?" I know like from friends that have gone on to like play sports and stuff, they're like, "Oh yeah, like we'll have like everyone has a financial guy on the team that will hit them up and be like, "Hey, like where your finances at? Have you made
yeah,
investments? Have you paid off this? Have you paid all that?"
yeah.
And some people will come in with their own like people to do that, right? Like maybe 100 Thieves needs to like kind of provide that for the younger
Maybe
signs, like just more opportunity for them,
that's
like
an investment.
to help them grow,
Yeah,
right, with the company, because that's essentially what you want, right? You What this ended up being, like I mentioned before, is a lose-lose situation. What you want is a win-win. What you want is to set up your new creators, set them up for success, and maybe this is just one step in them getting there. Like they obviously saw the mistakes that they made. Maybe they'll think twice before signing someone so young again, and giving them essentially a house.
yeah,
uh, but at the end of the day, like, hey, maybe they'll look at themselves and be like, okay, the next young group that we sign, of these streamers, like, yeah, we can give them this, but let's give them a little mentorship, right? Let's
yeah,
like set up weekly or even like bi-weekly calls with some other streamers and just be like, hey, like, how you guys doing? And because they'll come with questions. They'll be like, hey, I need help with this, or like, how do I do that? I'm sure some of these guys, it was their first time living outside of their parents' house.
yeah. Even
Like
at least set them up with an accountant that will at least,
right?
guide them. Yeah, no, you're right. Like that. This is a learning lesson. This is going to give a step to their. It's going to make their organization better because they're going to learn that they're essentially these people are an investment and they need an investment manager. So they
Yeah,
need someone to manage that investment. So maybe that's something that they'll hire in their team. So
Yeah,
yeah,
because I don't think anyone else from 100 Thieves has said that, like, "Oh, same thing happened to me." It was just him just lashing out.
yeah, everyone from
yeah,
100 Thieves seems to
And
be thriving,
everyone was
right?
like,
Like
yeah, everyone was
everyone's killing it
happy
on
with
that
100
team.
Thieves.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you gotta understand, like a lot of the people that have signed with the 100 Thieves have already been streaming for a while, and we're just independent streamers for such a long time, right?
Well,
Like,
I think when, Courage and Valkyrie signed, I think they were, like, the first 2, right, streamers other than Nate Shot,
Well,
'cause they became they
besides
came
Nick Merckx, yeah, Nick Merckx
yeah,
was. I think no,
eh
it was Nick Merckx and then Noah J 456.
oh no, yep,
oh, yeah, Noah J was the
Noah
first
J
one.
was their first one, yeah. But
Yeah,
he was a content streamer and he did
he did
zombies, Call of Duty
YouTube.
zombies.
He did YouTube, right? Not
Yeah,
Twitch.
yeah,
Yeah.
he
yeah,
did Call of Duty zombies, so he was a big streamer in that. But I mean, a YouTuber. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's pretty new. I mean, even
Courage and Valkyrie did good. They became co-owners after, like, a year or 2.
yeah,
I mean, they
yeah,
just had if you get the opportunity, just take it and run with it, and you never know what happens.
yeah. You gotta do it, man.
Mhm. I
um,
mean, I would've did everything. I'm
yeah,
like, "Sign me
apparently,
up for
yeah,
everything."
I follow Classify on Twitter, and he's pretty dope. He's always been pretty cool. He's the only one that I think
classify.
Classify. If you ever, yeah, he's
I'll look
pretty
them up.
dope. So yeah,
Yeah,
he was on the move. So uh, he was the only one that they said that Nate Shot considered re-signing. So because he actually streams and actually does his own content
yeah.
Yeah, he's the
besides
only one I
them.
had heard of.
Yeah, there's Frosty, Mako, and I forgot what the fourth guy's name was.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's
Yeah.
crazy stuff. Crazy stuff happening in streaming.